Well, hello there. My name is Jen Barkan with Do You Convert, and welcome to Opt, Online People Talking. This series is dedicated to enhancing the lives and careers of the new home sales, online sales specialists specifically. We will talk about real life challenges, solutions, successes, and all geared towards you, all for you. Last month, if you happen to catch it on Opt, I had the pleasure of interviewing Erin Fitz of Red Door Homes in the Carolinas, which is a build on your lot builder. And we talked about, we talked about the recent builder follow-up survey. We talked about her awesome shop that she did. I'll have to go back and listen again. I think she asked about 25 different qualifying questions, which was completely crazy. But it was all about, the art of a great phone conversation, which brings me to our very special guest today, Steven Buterbaugh. Did I say it right?
You got it. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, awesome.
How are you, Jen?
I am amazing. I am so excited to talk to you today. Guys, if you're excited to hear from Steven, you might not know yet exactly why you're going to love him, but smash some hearts. We're excited to have you here on Opt. And let me tell you folks a little bit about Steven. He started in real estate in 1995 as a sales assistant for a California-based home builder that was building in Northern Virginia. And but actually his passion for real estate actually started way before that, when he was a kid, because he would go to the grocery store and beg his mom for a home plan magazine.
It's true.
So, I mean, you were just destined to be in new home sales. So he currently is with Winchester Homes, which is a builder in the DC metro area. They build in Northern Virginia, Maryland. But back in 2002, while he was working at Richmond America, he actually started in a new role in let me get my notes, Home Buyer Resource Center. Home Buyer Resource Center, think about that, which equals online sales specialist basically now. So back in 2002, he was doing that for Richmond America. It was a new role. And, over the years, he's taken some different paths. He's done on-site sales. He's done marketing. He's even done HR. But his current role as new home specialist, online sales specialist with Winchester Homes has brought him back to his roots, his true passion, online sales. And Steven is a master at the art of a great phone call. And so this is something that we're going to talk about today. So Steven, welcome. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Absolutely. So let's get a little context for our people watching, our people tuning in. Tell us a little bit about Winchester Homes. You're in DC Metro, but what are the markets you serve? What's the price point? Give us a little background on that.
Yeah, absolutely. We serve Northern Virginia and the Maryland suburbs around Washington, D.C. We have prices, anywhere from the mid to upper 300s up into the 800s currently. We have active adults, we have all ages, we have single family homes, we have townhomes, so we've got everything here. Awesome. Winchester is a regional builder here in the DC area. We are part of TriPoint Group, yes, which is a national home builder with lots of different divisions as well.
Absolutely. And how long have you been with Winchester?
I've been with Winchester about 3.5 years now. Okay. My first year and a half was in a marketing position. Okay. And then I transitioned a little over 2 years ago into the online sales position.
Awesome. And is it just you, or do you have a team?
I have an excellent partner. Her name is Sarah. And yeah, we are a team effort here.
Shout out to Sarah. If you're watching, say hi, Sarah. I want to get an update from you guys. What's the current kind of COVID status in DC Metro? Are you guys open? for appointments, or like what's kind of the situation up there?
Yeah, so a few weeks ago, we went to private appointments from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and then drop-in hours from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now, we can still set appointments during that 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. time frame, but the 11 to 1 are private one-on-one appointments for people who have
Okay.
COVID-19 concerns, which has been a great resource for us because we do ask the questions, before we set up the appointment and so on. But it gives people the option to kind of be in the model home if they do have COVID-19 concerns.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
we do
is
have drop-in hours though.
so everything is still funneling to you and Sarah as far as is anybody allowed to just walk in to the okay,
Yeah,
so they are from 1 to
yeah,
6 is what you're saying.
from one.
They can walk in. Okay. So things may be shifting back to normal a little bit then
A
there.
little bit,
Yeah.
yeah. We've
Yeah.
seen a little bit of a opportunity because our new home advisors are so busy with appointments. It honestly is it's a nice aspect to tell people that they can drop in. And again,
Yeah.
with the follow up, we just call them back the next day and be like,
Right.
did you like what you saw? And then can we set up a time for you to come back?
Yeah. Okay, that's nice. I like that. Follow up, follow up, follow up.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so the reason we have Steven on, like I said, is because he is an amazing. He has an amazing job on the phone and talking with prospects. And if you remember last month when we talked to Erin, she mentioned some of her tips for having a great phone conversation were, being consistent, listening to shopping your competition and like listening to what other people are saying. And she mentioned process, just kind of having a process in place. And so that's what I want to talk about today with Steven is breaking down a great phone conversation into, the process of it, which is, preparing for the call, having a great opening for the call. We always talk about being Buddy the Elf excited on that greeting and opening, qualifying, assuming the appointment while you're having this conversation, all ending in asking for the appointment. So a great conversation ends in getting the appointment. That's what we're all here to do, right, Stephen?
Absolutely.
So I'd like to break it down, and Steven's going to give us some tips and tricks that he uses with mastering this phone conversation in this process. This is really the meat and potatoes of a great online sales specialist is getting this down. And one thing I have seen, especially during COVID and with the increased numbers of calls that you guys are getting, is that added stress of I'm on the phone with a prospect, I can hear other people beeping in, I'm missing that call. Okay, now I've got stress because my missed call rate is going up,
Yep.
and it is affecting the calls that you're having. It's like not you, Steven, but in general, people are being rushed. They're rushing through the conversation. They're quickly going through and just setting the appointment without really getting the meat from it, right?
Correct.
And
Yeah.
so, what I want to encourage you guys to do is slow down. The person beeping in might not even be a lead. So the person that you're connected with right at that moment is the most important prospect that is you're going to talk to, might be the most important prospect you're going to talk to that day. So slow down and really, get the information that you need and take your time with it. Okay. So let's talk about prepare. That's the first step in the process. How do you prepare to be amazing on the phone,
Oh
Stephen?
gosh,
Give us
thank
your
you.
give us your tips and tricks.
Well, the first thing is obviously to know your communities. There's so much to do that you can prepare. Visiting communities, touring, knowing area landmarks and things, and just having that knowledge up here. But a huge resource as well as our website. So as soon as the phone rings, I go straight to our website. And once we start the conversation, we find out which community they're interested in, and I go straight to that page because that's going to give you all the current pricing, move-in ready pricing, area information. Everything's going to be right there. So that's a big, huge resource for preparing for the call.
Absolutely. Knowledge equals confidence. That's
Yes,
a big one, right? If
yep,
you can't confidently talk about your communities, your homes, your builder, that's already you're already at a disadvantage. So
absolutely.
study, brush up, know your communities. Okay. Second step is opening. So talk about why this is so important to open strong and have a great greeting and build that rapport. So what are some things that you do?
Yeah, we answer with a smile always. And then just a friendly, thank you so much for calling Winchester Homes. This is Steven. How may I help you?
Okay, let me pause right there.
Okay.
Okay, so guys, he's answering, thank you for calling Winchester Homes. This is Steven. How may I help you today? You're doing that every time
Yes.
versus this is Steven.
Right.
Winchester Homes. How can I help? Even just Winchester Homes, how can I help you? Take the time to do the greeting. Okay, go ahead. What's next?
And then I'm a little bit less formal with asking their name. If they don't give us their name right away,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll be like, "What's your name?" I know sometimes it's like, "Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with?" and things like that. But I'm more of like, "What's your name?" So I kind of get that
Yeah,
friendly conversation going.
I love that. Hey, what's your name?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think as online sales specialists, we get caught up in like the scripted things that we're supposed to do, right? Sometimes it's like, okay, we're supposed to ask this, we're supposed to say it this way, which you should absolutely have scripts, but it can totally be your way of your flair, like add your personality. And
Yeah.
remember, this is a person just like you that's you're talking to. So I love that. Like, hey, what's your name?
Yeah.
Do you
And when
would
we,
you say you do that every time you get that
I
name?
I'm gonna say yes.
And why and then what do you do after you get their name? Like
I
why?
write it down. Literally on my pad and paper. I write their name down just so I can glance at that and use that name throughout the conversation.
Okay, guys. So open, prepare, open with your greeting, and sound like you're excited that they called in, right? That voice, your tone is so important. Steven says, get their name. Hey, what's your name? Write it down. And then it's important, just what you just said is you use their name throughout the call.
Exactly.
Why do you think that's important? How does that help you?
It just again creates that personal conversation.
Yeah.
And don't hesitate to ask the name again. If you didn't hear it clearly the first time or they need to spell it for you, don't hesitate to ask that because you want to
Great
make sure
advice.
you have it right.
Any advice for like maybe like international
Hmm.
clients that sometimes it's hard to understand
Absolutely.
what they're saying. Any advice for?
Yeah. Just again ask to clarify. And what was it again? And how do you spell that?
Okay.
Because normally they'll probably have issues, with other people as well. So it's not going to harm. I know it's not going to hurt to
Right.
ask.
Great advice. Okay. The next step in the process is qualifying, right? So, the areas of qualification, guys, area, time frame, authority, wants, needs, motivations, and investment range. So, your job as online sales specialist is to get answers to all of those questions. And Stephen is so great because he does it in a very conversational way. So, Stephen, what are some tips for online sales specialists out there listening that what are your go-to questions? What are some tips for like getting the information out of the prospects?
Yeah, I ask a lot of questions in the downtime of the conversation. Times there's usually a small pause, whether you're looking something up or you're looking at your new home advisor's calendar to set up an appointment. Just kind of interject some questions in there. If they're looking to set up an appointment, all right, let's just pull up our new home advisor's calendar here. Where do you live now? What's your time frame? Just super casual in the conversation. First question I usually like to ask is what location they're looking at or what area, and then where do they live now?
I love that. Why is it important for you to find out where do you live now?
It kind of guides the conversation. If someone's local and they live just down the street, they know the area. So you can save area information conversations with them. But if someone's relocating from Atlanta, They don't know the
Yeah.
area as well. So you can talk a little bit about the area. So it helps guide the conversation.
Love it. That's so important. Um, One thing that, because I have listened to your calls, that's why I know you're so amazing. I have had the pleasure of hearing you on the phone. One thing that you do really well is if somebody calls in and they say, "Hi, Steven, I'd like to go out to West Oaks Corner, and I'd like to go tour that." You, I can help you with that, Jen. You set the appointment, but then you go back and you qualify.
Right.
You don't just set the appointment without qualifying.
Right.
Why is that so important?
It helps prepare the new home advisor. It
Yeah.
sets them up for success. That way they know where the prospect is at in their home search. They have some details about them, and it helps us just to ensure that that's the right community for them.
Absolutely. So, you know, you're not just appointment setters, you're appointment getters. That's
Absolutely.
a Mike Lyon original quote. So it's easy, sometimes it's easy, it's the easy button, right? Oh, I can help you with that. Yeah, I'll set the appointment. But it's
Sure.
so important to go back and get that information for exactly like you said. You are setting expectations, you're preparing your new home advisor. Absolutely. I love it. Okay. The next step in the process is assuming the appointment, right? The whole time you are talking with the prospect. So talk a little bit about that. How do we do that? How do you do that?
Again, based on the conversation, it's really just, like you said, assuming that appointment's going to happen. Like now that we've given you all the information you're looking for, can we go ahead and get this set up?
Yeah.
And that typically happens at the beginning of the conversation, and then we'll qualify. But sometimes it happens, just during the conversation. So
Yeah.
always, anybody who calls in, especially or sends in a lead, they're taking the time to do that. They're reaching out to you. You can assume that they're going to set up an appointment.
Right. I love that. It's like, yeah, they called me. I'm
Yep.
I'm going with the fact that we're going to get this appointment and it's going to happen. And using language like, when you come out and meet with our new home advisor, they'll be able to go over these things with you. And
100%.
it's like planting the little seeds in their head, and then at the end, step number 5, you're asking for the appointment. Any tips or tricks here? How do you go about it? What do you say?
We're usually pretty assumptive in the closing. It's just like, let's get this set up. Are you ready to go out?
Yeah,
How about that appointment? Let's get you
right,
out there.
right. You know, so many times, as online sales specialist, maybe it's a little bit of a tense call. Like it's not as, you get those prospects
Oh,
sometimes that are a little
absolutely.
difficult,
Don't
right?
mesh well. I call it not
Yeah, it's
meshing well.
yeah, you don't mesh well. It's a little, ooh, I'm not vibing here. What do you do? Do you still go for the appointment? Like,
Yeah, we just still go for the point. It's a funny thing you brought that up because we've noticed recently that like if those a lot of those calls that don't mesh well, sometimes it depends what device they're on. If the phone's cutting in and out. I know other people have experienced this as well. It cuts and you like, it's hard to get the actual
yeah,
conversation going. But yeah, always because again, they're calling in, or they've sent
right,
in something and we're following up with them. So absolutely,
right,
definitely
right.
assume that appointment.
Yeah, and it's like I just had a 8-minute conversation with this person. If I don't ask for the appointment, man, that was a lot of work. That was a lot of my time. That was a lot of
Yeah.
8 minutes of time. And so guys, go for it. Just the worst thing that's going to happen is they say no.
Yep.
Okay. And you have objections, you have scripts for objections ready to go. We'll have to do it. That's a good idea. We'll have to do another opt on how to overcome objections. But let's do this. I think this will be fun, Stephen. Let's do a role play.
Okay.
And I'll give you an objection, and you don't know what it's going to be, but I'm going to give you an objection, and we can talk about this. A very common objection that I'm sure all of you listening have heard at some point in time. Okay, so ring, ring, ring.
Thank you for calling Winchester Homes. This is Steven. How may I help you?
Hey, Stephen. I was on your website and was interested in learning more about West Oaks Corner.
Absolutely. What's your name?
Oh, my name's Jen.
Hi, Jen. How are you today?
I am amazing.
Wonderful. What questions can we help you with today?
Well, do you have anything that is going to be ready? We just sold our house, and so we've got to move in the next month or so.
Okay, where do you live now?
We live in Alexandria.
Okay, perfect. So you're local to the area. Are you
Hmm.
familiar with the Fairfax area?
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. You're looking for a quick move-in home.
Hmm.
Is there anything in particular you're looking for in a new home?
Well, I have two kids, and I work from home, so I do need an extra room for an office. Do you have that?
We do. We do. We have currently a three-bedroom option with a study.
Oh,
Would that work for you?
oh, that would be perfect.
Okay, excellent. Do you have a price range in mind you're trying to stay around, Jen?
I am like around 800,000.
Definitely, we can definitely do that.
Okay.
Absolutely. Well, let's get you set up. We're just pulling up our new home advisor's calendar here. What day works for you to come out?
Well, we work during the week, so probably a weekend would be best.
Okay, perfect. Let's just take a quick look here. Anything else you're looking for in a new home that we can pass along to our new home advisor to help prepare?
Well, I really like hardwood floors,
Mm,
and I like a pretty open, kitchen with an island. Do you have
perfect.
that?
We do. Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah, as we were talking here, we like to bring home an advisor's calendar. We do have a 4 o'clock on Saturday. Would that work for you?
Um, I'm not 100% sure because I know my husband had some things planned for us on Saturday. So I
Okay.
do need to run it past him to see if that would still work.
Okay. Do you want to go ahead and put yourself down tentatively on our new home advisor's calendar now, just to secure that spot, because we do get pretty busy on the weekends?
Yeah, I guess that's fine.
We'll definitely do that, Jen. And what we'll do is we'll give you a call tomorrow after you've had a chance to talk with your husband about it, and then we'll get you all confirmed and set up.
All right, that sounds good.
Okay. And just to confirm, is this the best phone number for you that you're calling from?
Yes, it is.
Excellent. And what's a good email address for you?
barkanddog76@gmail.com.
Perfect, Jen. Thank you so much. And we'll touch base tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, Jen. Have
All
a
right.
great day.
And cut.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, good job. You passed. Here's the
Hey.
thing. Here's the thing that I love is that you have a very okay. Here's a technical term: sing-songy type of tone to your voice, which makes the prospect feel very at ease and comfortable with talking with you. So that was really good. So the objection was, I've got to check with my husband on the time. I mean, how many times do you hear that? I mean, it's that I've got to check with my wife. I got to check with my husband. I got to check my kids' schedule. I got to check my work schedule. I mean, that's a common objection. And so, like Steven did there, you quickly were like, hey, no problem. We can set the tentative time. And I like what you said. It does get really busy on the weekends, creating that little sense of urgency there. And then I'll be sure to confirm with you the day before to make sure that still works for you. Good
Yeah.
job.
Thanks. And I did like
Awesome.
as far as the conversation went, like I got your time frame obviously for a quick move in.
Mm-hmm.
Although, you know what, after the fact, I did not ask if anybody else would be joining you
Mm,
to get that question. That is
that's
a
okay.
typical
Yeah.
question that we ask to kind of get that authority idea of like who's going to be making decisions and so on. So in
Yeah.
hindsight, I should have asked that same
Yeah,
question.
so that's good. You got the time frame. You knew that it was needed to be soon. You asked about the area. You knew that I was from the area. You got the investment range. You asked me what I wanted. Was there? And you asked a couple different times because I didn't really give you a lot of information. I didn't give you bedrooms. I didn't give you, you know what I mean. I just said I was looking at this particular community on the website. But yeah, that was the only thing that you missed. That is a common one that people miss is authority, because it's kind of a little bit awkward to ask. So how do you typically ask it?
We ask, will anybody else be joining you at this appointment or part of the transaction?
Perfect. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Good job.
I would have asked you that tomorrow when I called you to follow up.
So would you, if you miss anything on the call, you immediately are like, oh shoot, I meant to ask that. Do you make a note so that when you call, you ask?
Absolutely. And I've been known to call them right back sometimes.
Very
And I'm like,
good.
to ask.
Very
So
good. So that's great advice, guys. Like Steven's saying, if you hang up and you're like, oh shoot, I forgot to ask that, call them right back, because you've seen it's, you're likely they're going to answer. Like if you hang up and you call them right back, you're going to answer. And so what do you say when you call them back?
I'm just say, I'm so sorry we just spoke. I just had a couple more questions to ask you, and then just go on. So
Perfect.
we're human.
Love it. Love it. Okay, role playing is over. We're not doing that anymore. Okay, rapid fire questions. You ready?
Yes.
What is your favorite thing about being an online sales specialist?
Talking to people.
Okay. What is your biggest challenge?
Oh gosh. My biggest challenge, shoosh. I would say not being able to. I could work 24 hours a day at this position. You know, I love to talk to people so much and help them with their questions. My biggest challenge, I think, is kind of stepping back from it in honesty. But as far as an actual challenge,
No, that's a big challenge.
I know. I hate to say it,
Like
but
creating boundaries, right? So like
creating
when
is
it's
perfect.
6 or 7 o'clock, you're turning it off, right? You're walking away, and so that is very challenging, especially when you work from home. When you know, now that everybody's kind of working from home more, it's really easy to, that boundary just is fluid, right? And so
They're so eager for information, you just want to help them.
right.
But it's okay to wait till the next day.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, having said that, how do you stay fresh and passionate about this role? What are some things that you do?
I like information. I like knowledge. So I'm constantly looking at our website, just learning more about our communities and so on. I love visiting communities. I love just having knowledge up here about our communities. So that helps me kind of to stay on top of everything. And time off is important as well. You know, I know you all encourage breaks. You know, I'll take a walk if I'm working in the office that day. I'll take a quick loop around the office just for a quick breather to get your face away from the computer. But yeah, that's kind of what I do.
Absolutely. Well, what do you do for fun? How do you, when you are completely checked out, because you have a team member, you have a partner, so you can check out periodically.
Yes.
How do you recharge your battery?
Oh, I love to hike. I love to be outside. I love to paddleboard. I love to just hang out with friends and just disconnect, which is I'm so thankful to have that, having a partner to be able to do that, and vice versa for her when she's off. I want her to enjoy her days off and know that someone else is, you know, working for you and doing what they need to do to help everybody.
Awesome. Fellow paddleboarder. I didn't know that
Yes.
about you. I
We just
love
bought a
paddle.
couple inflatable ones. They're really cool.
Oh, nice. Okay. I have a regular
Oh yeah.
foam one. I don't have an. Do you like the inflatable one?
Yeah, they're great. They just fold up to a backpack. You
Okay.
blow them up when you get to the lake and go for it.
That's nice versus lugging this,
Yeah,
50-pound thing. Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, so you mentioned your team, you and Sarah. What are some things that work for you as a team that you could recommend to other team members out there?
Yeah. One thing we do, and we decided this worked best for us, was to split the day on phones. So we have phone hours from basically 10 to 6. Our phone lines are active, and then one of us covers from 10 to 2, and the other person covers from 2 to 6. And what that does is that allows you to focus on your tasks. It allows you to make outbound calls without worrying about missing a call. It allows you to email everybody who needs to be emailed and follow up with everyone. It really works for us. It's been a huge value to be able to have that time. And then we work together, if we need to switch it and so on. We alternate it every other day.
Right.
So we're, one person's in the afternoon, one person's in the morning, and vice versa. But that would be a recommendation. Before we had phone time, where it was like 2 hours of phone time here and there whenever you needed it.
Right.
But half the day really works for us. And, if the phones get super busy, we're both working, so we can jump on.
Right.
Phones ringing off the hook and help out. But that's been a really great
Okay.
team thing that we do.
So just to clarify, how do you split the day? What are the hours?
So on inbound calls, on inbound leads, you're on all
the
day long.
time.
But inbound calls, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then 2 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Back to the future. If you could go back in time to your brand new online sales specialist self, what advice would you give somebody starting in this role?
I would say do not get overwhelmed, because it's super easy to get overwhelmed in this position, because again, people are calling, they're sending in information requests, and I would say one task at a time.
I was going to say, how do you not get overwhelmed?
I know, it's one task at a time. And trust me, I have to tell myself probably every day the same reminder to not get overwhelmed, because it does get overwhelming.
Okay.
And one task at a time. And just like you said earlier, the person who you are on the phone with at the time is the most important. And when that phone beeps, I'm guilty of it.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like
I know.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the most important person.
Very good advice. What's one tool that you can't live without?
My notepad and paper. Believe it or not, we have so many tools. We use Salesforce, CallRail, everything.
Yeah.
My notepad and pen are the most important things to me. Not only, like we mentioned earlier, about writing people's names down, but just jotting down the answers to those questions that we're asking and then transferring them into the system.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. What's one thing that you started during COVID quarantine that you will continue doing when this is all over?
Well, we have these questions that we're asking everybody, but hopefully those won't continue too long. We have 3 questions. Have you been in contact?
Right.
All those good things. I would say really going back and making sure everybody's questions were answered, making sure you listen to phone calls. Again, we were so busy during COVID that unfortunately we weren't able to accommodate a lot of people's appointment requests, because we were so booked. We were booked. Our new home advisors were all booked up. So just going back and making sure people's questions are answered and ensuring them that you're there, and so on. So, typical of what I did before, but at the same time, I think it's been enhanced a little bit more with COVID, because we are a resource for them, and I just want to make sure we're there for them.
Do you think that you'll stay more appointment focused versus walk-in?
In the near future, I would say yes. We definitely encourage that appointment, and people are still calling and asking for them, even though we do have drop-in hours. But in the near future, I would say definitely our focus is that one-on-one personal appointment to get all their questions answered.
Yeah, that's still the best. Still the best way to convert, right? Is that qualified appointment, in-person meeting. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Steven, for being our guest today on Opt. It has been such a great time chatting with you, and you are truly an online sales influencer in the industry. Thank you all for joining us on Opt today. For our latest blogs, webinars, sign up for our newsletter, podcast information, and to reach out to us as well, visit doyouconvert.com. Again, my name is Jen Barkan with Do You Convert, and thank you so much for joining us.